Hello everyone, welcome back to another edition of VoxRes. In this episode we're going to start having a look at all the goodies that we've bought for the replacement Astra engine. So without further ado, let's have a look. Right, get the boring stuff out of the way first. A little bag of studs and bolts. These are manifold studs. Bought them just in case, they're for the exhaust manifold. Bought them just in case because the ones on the existing engine look a little bit tatty, so might need to replace those. So I've got them if we need them. What else have we got? Some various gaskets. So I've got a new rocker cover gasket here. It just came screwed up in an envelope like that, which I wasn't very impressed with. But it looks intact. I'm going to swap the rocker cover from the existing engine, put it on the replacement one because if you remember rightly, we've replaced it once before because we had that breathing problem right back in March when I bought the car. The engine breather, and it's sucking in the dipstick and you couldn't get the oil filler cap off. So bought a brand new rocker cover then. One that's come off this engine because I have taken it off. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Isn't too bad, but I've got a brand new one. It's only done about 1,000 miles, so let's have a go. Change that, put the new one on. So that's that. What else did we get? Some other gaskets and bits and pieces here. So we've got a exhaust down pipe to exhaust manifold gasket. One of those. We've got an EGR gasket to the EGR valve. I'm probably going to take that off and give it a clean. So I bought one of those just in case we need it. And an exhaust manifold to cylinder head gasket. One of those. These are metal gaskets, need to be kept flat and not bent. What else did we get? Okay. A timing belt kit. So the timing belt kit consists of a tensioner, which we have here, and an idler pulley, or jockey wheel, or whatever you want to call it. So that's that one there. Some nuts and bolts for fitting it all together, so they'll be torqued down to the right torque, and the belt itself, you can see that in the box there. Not going to take it out. So that drives on this vehicle, doesn't drive anything else other than from the crankshaft, takes the drive to the camshafts, so it doesn't do the water pump or anything else like it does on some vehicles. Certainly the Vectra diesels, it drives the water pump as well. You'll notice that's a Gates kit. Gates are quite renowned for being one of the best belt manufacturers on the market. They quite a lot of car manufacturers use these as OEM original equipment fitment. So I bought Gates belt. Also bought a Gates Micro V belt. This is the auxiliary belt, fan belt, serpentine belt, whatever anyone wants to call it. It goes by a lot of names. Basically, it drives from the pulley on the front of the crankshaft, and in this case it turns the water pump, the air conditioning pump, and also the alternator to generate the power for the battery, charge the battery. In some cars it'll also drive your power steering pump, but this Astra has actually got an electric power steering pump on, so there isn't anything to drive. So that's the V belt. What else did we get? Right, another big bit. Oh no, another little boring bit. Oil filter. Going to put a new oil filter on this engine. Obviously it hasn't got any oil in it at the moment. Even if it had, I'd be draining it and replacing it, but I'm going to put a new oil filter on with fresh oil in it. That was that one. Another slightly non-interesting thing, air filter. Don't know when this car was last serviced, but I thought putting another engine in, let's give it a fair chance and give it a new air filter as well. What else did we get? Big heavy box now. Ooh, a new clutch. So while the engine's out, decided I'm going to put a new friction plate and a new pressure plate in. Get those fitted. So for the sake of the money, I don't know what it was, probably about 50 quid I think. it's well worth doing while you've got the engine and gearbox out. So that's the clutch. Another little thing to do with the clutch is here. This is a new master cylinder, sorry, slave cylinder. Still in its packaging, you can see it there. Basically that goes inside the gearbox, and it's what pushes on the splines of the pressure plate to release the clutch. It's hydraulically driven when you press the clutch pedal. So again, because the engine and gearbox are out, it's not worth messing around and trying to and not putting one in, because if it fails, it's engine or at least gearbox out again. Another big job. So let's get it changed. And I think that's it for spare parts. Couple of little bits of tooling I bought, nothing too exciting. A timing kit, well, not a timing kit, it's a tool for locking the engine up and the camshaft up. It's got some bits and pieces in there. These, I don't know if you can see that at all, I'll spill it all out on the floor. These red pieces lock the camshafts. I think that's something to do with camshaft locking. I think that pulls the tensioner. Use that key to pull the tensioner. Probably what that pin or that little piece of spring metal that's in there you use for locking the tensioner in place. And I'm a little bit, it's a great piece of kit, it's got everything in it. However, it came with some really good instructions. I don't know if you can see that, but they're all in German, and I don't speak German, so yeah, might have to wing that a little bit, or just go by the little drawings. You can see on the drawings here, I don't know if you can get that in shot, but it shows you where that little spring clip goes, that little spring thing to hold the tensioner closed. That piece goes over the end of the camshaft, so I don't know what that's for, why you need to do that if you've locked it there, but you can. This piece, it does say that, it's funny, the words on the drawing are in English, so we've got front and engine mount and sump and block, and if you can see that there. I'm guessing this is to do with locking the crankshaft in position, but we'll have a better look at that when the time comes to put the bits on the engine. So that's the timing kit. And what else did I get? I've got a couple of straps, a couple of lifting straps. I have got some, but they're quite old, very, very old in fact, probably nearly as old as I am. Didn't really want to risk lifting the engine out and having them break, so a couple of brand new ones. They're 1 tonne each, they're supposed to lift, so they should be fine. They're 2 metres, so they'll go right round the engine. And to join it all together, it's a bit dirty in there, but a big shackle, so we can put the straps through that, hook it onto the engine, and then hook the engine crane onto there, lift the engine out. As easy as that. Sounds really easy. So, got to decide what to do next. I think the next thing to do really, because I've got some assistance, my son's coming over at the weekend, so I'll have some assistance to lift the engine out. I think the best thing to do, while the weather's nice, it's a gorgeous week, or gorgeous day here, we're supposed to be having a gorgeous weekend, it is a bank holiday, which is unusual for the UK. It normally rains August bank holiday weekend, but it's talking about getting up into the low 30s on Sunday, which is going to be extremely hot. It's probably mid-20s now, but it's very humid out here. But what I think I need to do is actually start getting the existing engine prepped for removal. Squirt a few things with WD-40, like the exhaust manifold brackets and things like that, get the suspension off, and the drive shafts out of the gearbox, because I'm going to lift the gearbox out in its entirety. But yeah, let's crack on. Right, so just before I start ripping this engine apart, I thought I'd just do a quick cold start just to show you how noisy it's got. I think it's got worse. I've done about 1,000 miles or so in it now, maybe probably about 1,300 actually, to be honest. And I thought I'd just do a quick cold start just so you can hear it rattle, because I think it's a lot worse than it was. Let's give it a go. So I don't know what you guys think, but I think that's a lot worse. Right, so the time's come. Let's start stripping this thing down. Got a bit of a procedure in my head, so it'll probably get lost quite easily. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to jack the car up, whip the drive shafts out of the gearbox. Maybe before I do that I'll squirt some lubrication, some WD-40 or something on the inlet manifold, sorry, exhaust manifold bolts, because I think they're going to be pigs to get off. Yeah, I think that's the procedure, do that and then start stripping stuff down, taking stuff out of the inside of the engine bay. Battery's got to come off, battery tray's got to come out, like I say, might drop the exhaust, might drop the whole fronted section off, take the exhaust manifold off because I think that'll give me a little bit more space to work. I do believe, just move the camera down a little bit, I believe that you can unbolt this panel here. I think it all comes out, which would give us a lot more room. All the radiators and everything are behind here, so I might do that. But looking at that, if I take the exhaust manifold off, I think I might have enough room to jiggle that out without stripping all that down, which means I might not have to, well, we'll have to drain the cooling system, but might not have to remove the radiators, but we'll see how we go. So I'm going to just get on with it now and not do too much chat and just video what I'm doing. Right, as you can see, got the car up off the ground, just taking the wheels off using my new Ryobi tool for the first time. Absolutely awesome. Didn't even need to use the breaker bar. Well, I tell a lie, I did use it on the locking nuts. I didn't want to put too much force on them, but all the other wheel nuts just came off. That's fantastic. Right, I think that's a good place to leave this week's video. Just before I go, I just want to apologise once again for the ad hoc video posting over recent weeks. As I said in my last video, I'm refitting my kitchen and dining room. As you can see, the kitchen's taking shape behind me, so hopefully we'll be back to normal and back to our normal schedule of posting a new video up every Friday. Also want to thank everyone that has commented on the videos. I think by now I have replied to you all. Apologies again if it is a little bit of a delay me responding to your posts or your comments, but I will get around to replying to all of them. And also a big thank you to everyone that subscribed. I hadn't looked at the channel for a couple of weeks, and when I logged on yesterday evening to have a check, I noticed I've got 71 subscribers, so that's excellent. It's the middle of March now, so it'd be really nice to get up to 100 by the end of April. So don't forget everyone, like, share and subscribe down below, and I'll catch you in the next one.